Yes.
Good.
Yep.
I'll let Zoran start off, and then we will again get into question, guys. Take away, Zoran.
Hey guys, thank you for coming today. I think we felt that after almost, I think it's about 1/3 of the season passed, it'll be good to kind of address the media and kind of give you an update and maybe touch base on some of the questions you might have after the first 12 games of the season, and we have a little bit more understanding of the squad, of the roster, of the Major League Soccer of the season so far.
Awesome, thank you. Will Pelagic, I'll let you lead it off today.
Thanks, Woody. Afternoon, Zoran. Congratulations on the Chelsea news. I guess what were the initial thoughts on not only getting them and why Chelsea in particular?
Well, look, we always wanted to bring the best talent in Charlotte and Carolinas, but as you guys all know, it's very difficult to attract the best of the best right now in Major League Soccer. I'm sure these times are coming, but right now we thought it would be great for our fans, for our loyal fans who are coming in such a great numbers every game to kind of experience the Charlotte FC playing one of the Europe truly greats. Twice the European champions, 6 times champions of Premier League, one of the best clubs in the last decade in the world by far.
And also, since it seemed like you opened everything up as far as everything else goes through a third of the season in terms of the line of questioning, you did finish this transfer window signing another DP and obviously having one slot open. Is it your intention to fill that slot in the summer transfer window?
Absolutely. We are looking at, I wouldn't like to commit whether it's going to happen in a summer transfer window, which is our aim, or whether it will happen in January, simply because the business of transfers and deals and making is unpredictable, at least to say. So yeah, we are looking for adding attacking midfield as the attacking midfielder as a third DP. That's our primary aim, but it's something that we are very careful how we go about, and we have a targets. We're talking to targets, and if possible, we'll bring it in a summer window.
Thank you, Zoran.
All right, Alex, go ahead.
Thank you, Zoran. Appreciate the time. Just as a follow-up too, because I know we discussed this a while back, but for that particular target, would that have to be a young DP then because of Jordi Alcivar's status?
Right now, yes, correct. It has to be a young DP.
Okay, thank you. And then looping back to the Chelsea and Charlotte matchup, obviously that, it's pitting Charlotte FC as an expansion team new to MLS against, top club in Europe, arguably the world. How do you think Charlotte FC is going to perform competing against a Premier League team like Chelsea? I
said many times, I think playing at home, I think this team, as it is now, should not fear anybody. And we should play against everybody to win. I said this at the beginning of the season, I said this now, and I'll say this at the end of the season. So this team is built to play to win. I mean, these players all believe in themselves, and they will try to win every game, regardless of who they play. Of course, they will respect Chelsea, but also the Chelsea will be in a pre-season, and Chelsea will mix and match their squad throughout the game. So I feel positive. It'll be a good game of soccer, and I'm sure that everyone would enjoy, our fans, myself, and you guys as well. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite you all. I think you would love to kind of probably come and see some of, especially what I would like to point out. I'd love to see some of the young American stars like Ben Bednar or George Marks maybe getting some minutes, and Chris Haggard. So it'll be great to see how the American talent compares to the best of the best in the world.
And then is there any concern from Charlotte, given the ownership situation at Chelsea, that plans for this match could change? Is the match contingent on a completed sale of Chelsea?
I think we're pretty confident that this is going to go ahead, and I think we don't foresee any issues on that front.
Thank you.
All right, Tom.
Thanks, Woody. Hey, Zoran. Thanks for taking the time as always.
Hey, Tom.
I guess just, at this kind of 1/3 mark, and it's a good time to kind of take a step back and, look back and look forward. What are some things that the team, I guess, have done well so far, and what are some things that you guys are looking to improve as you move forward?
Well, it's as we spoke earlier, Tom, on several occasions, and I said a few times, you don't know who you really have until they start playing. You don't really know individual players what they can give you or not until you see them playing week after week. And so now we're getting a little bit better picture of who is who in a team, who can give us what, and how we can move forward and how we can improve. So I think our season has gone well. I believe I'm proud of the players. At the beginning we said our aim for the year one is to be competitive. And I think we proved that. I think we are competitive in every single game. I don't think that anybody really defeated us or beat us soundly. We did lose some games, unfortunately, but I think the team showed the spirit and they were fighting towards the last minute and until the last minute. So I think there are a lot of positives to take from the first 12 games. There are obviously a lot of room for improvement. We're addressing that, the coaching staff and myself, and also the front office is looking at now where else and what else we need to improve for the season ahead, coming, like a summer window we mentioned, and also the next year. So as I would like to point out to you, we've done a lot of data and research of some very successful expansion clubs and some clubs who perhaps were not done their job and not done very well. So we believe that, for example, one of the ideas that we had is to kind of keep the spine of the team, the core of the team together for the season 2. Some of the expansion teams before changed 14, 15, 16, even 17 players after the year 1. We wanted to build on this team, so we would change, we would add. Some players would leave, some players will come, but I would think that this number would be 5, 6, 7 maximum, rather than in a double digits.
Thank you.
All right, Jorge.
Hey, Zoran. I know you touched with Tom a little bit about how the season's gone so far. I know you also mentioned maybe bringing in a young DP. I'd also like to see, based on what you've seen so far, are there any other positions that you're looking to bolster in the summer?
Well, it depends. Maybe depends of the where can we add them. We have a fairly large squad already. We have players coming back from the injuries, Vinny Mello and Chris Haggart. So there will be 2 new players for us, especially Vinny Mello, who didn't play any games. So it all depends on the movements. I mean, the markets are pretty unpredictable. I think we have some players that are already attracting interest from Europe and from other clubs. I wouldn't like to go deeper into this, but I would like to keep the entire squad. No one is for sale, but you never know. In this business, you simply never know. There are too many factors that determine at the end who stays, who goes. So right now, depending of if there are space on the roster.
Gotcha. And then yesterday, MLSplayers.org released the 2022 salary guide for players, and Charlotte FC ranks second to lowest in terms of roster salaries. What's your message to the people that maybe criticize the low spending versus having one of the highest tickets in the MLS?
First of all, I'm not sure I'm seeing correlation between the two. And second, I think this whole salary list is a little bit misleading, in my opinion. We have if we take into consideration the total spend, which is a acquisition cost and salaries, we are 7th on the list of the total spend in the league. I think this is more accurate description if you really want to compare. Second, we've done a lot of data analytics and we never find the correlation between paying big salaries and success. So, and I still don't see it. So, and so in that respect, we done the best we can to form the best squad. We never said we're going to overpay the players necessarily, and also we're still missing a DP player, which would change of course salary level that we are at. our second DP player came 3 months later, so his salary is not accurately reported for the second year, for example. And there are a lot of things. There are a few players on loan, so there are a lot of things that you have to take into consideration. So I think I would not at this comparison among the clubs on a salary level is not the real true benchmark for either success or the value of the clubs or the performance of the clubs.
Thank you.
Right. Let's go to Nick Carboni.
Zoran, regarding the Chelsea FC match, how big of a challenge will it be to put natural grass in again? And when you all switched to the field turf, was that something you thought for a special event like this may have to happen in the future for, a one-time only type of thing?
Well, as far as I know, it's only one off time. It's something that really is done by the people in the club and the different departments. They will be dealing with that. We have as you know, the huge group of people who are actually taking care of our turf. I think our turf is great. I think for this particular game, we will probably switch to a grass and then switch back to turf. And it's something that happens happened before and will happen in the future. So I think I just see one of these things when we have to do it because we wanted to bring someone of a Chelsea stature in the front of our fans and to Carolinas.
All right, Eric.
Zoran, I'm curious what is going on with the training center, the permanent training center. How important is that to get that resolved, and how long do you think it will take to resolve that?
I think we're working on this. This is our top priority, but this is the question that you should really address to the business side of the organization and to Joe Lebu, our president. He's leading on this project.
And just one follow-up. What do you need in? Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. But for us, it's a top priority, and I know that we're working hard on finding a final solution.
Okay, can you just describe even briefly what you want in a training center? In other words, how many fields do you need? What's the basic structure that you're looking for?
It's first of all we need what is I think basic like a two grass pitches and potentially one artificial pitch, and then we just have ideally we would like to have a entire group, the first team, MLS Next Pro and Academy together, and this is what we're looking at to kind of try to achieve, because I think it'll be great to have an entire business, entire kind of soccer side of the business together in one building and maybe sharing probably 4 to 6 pitches. The first team alone would need to have 2 pitches, and this is what we're aiming to have, plus potentially artificial pitch.
Thank you.
Okay, Christian.
Zoran, thanks for the time, bud. Are you surprised at all with how well Christian Kalina has played so early this season?
Not at all.
And
we done. If you see the amount of research and data analytics and watching the games and videos that we gone in order to find the best goalkeeper that we could afford, because there were some maybe that we couldn't simply afford for various reasons, and I'm not talking money now. I'm talking because it's difficult to get De Gea to leave Man United to come to Charlotte FC. But no, not at all. I think Christian is someone that we know for a long time, and he's done great, and he's played in a great for that level club. But it was time for him to kind of try something else, and he was very excited to come here. He wanted to be here, which is a prerequisite for every of the players. And then I think he's someone that, frankly, I am surprised that he is not in a Croatian national team for the World Cup, which might change, to be honest.
And then kind of double downing on that, how have you thought about the 2 starts that George Marks has made in the Cup tournament?
I think we have a future American U.S. men national team player in George Marks. I have not, as a matter of fact, I have no doubt.
One last thing for you. Is there any update on the the reality show you guys were doing. I believe it was titled, working title, Welcome to the Team. Is there any update on that?
Yes, it's still in a hands of the MGM and the league right now. So I wouldn't have anything else to update you on this. I'm still waiting for the update from the league and MGM.
Very cool. Thank you, bud.
Mike?
Hey, Zoran, good to see you again. For the Chelsea FC match, and you may not be able to answer this, but are you anticipating full building or just the lower bowl being sold for this one?
I think closer to full building.
Okay. And the news about Carol and Kamil going to the Polish national team, how does that impact you guys in terms of their availability? Because it looks like they're scheduled to miss perhaps one game for you, but I mean, I'm not sure how this all works.
Well, we in addition to Carol and Camille, we had 4 more players invited for the national teams. That's Jordi Reina for Peru. They have important games. That's Christian Macun for Venezuela, and then we have Jordi Alcivar and Alan Franco for Ecuador. So we have to deal. I mean, it's something that every club deals with. I mean, you know, it's Chelsea has 10 national team players, 11. So it's something that on one hand we are proud that we have the team that has 6 players who play for their national teams. On the other hand, I think we have a depth enough, and the young players are very, very eager to prove who they are and how good they are. So we need to work with that and adapt.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mike. I still see a few hands up, so I'll come back around. If you don't have another question, please lower it. Will?
Kind of dovetailing off that, Zoran, I think Miguel said something last week or week before about, you know, how constrictive the MLS roster is for situations like what Mike was talking about when you lose some guys to the international competitions. Would you like to see MLS possibly expand something where you're able to take on more players? I know that it'll probably help when you get the MLS Next Pro team in here next year, but how would you like to see that happen from a reserve roster standpoint so that you guys are amply able to handle a large, massive departure like that?
I think MLS, I think the league is actually actively searching for the solutions for this problem. And I think they acknowledging that there is an issue potentially, and I think CSOs and group of us already working on this. I had several meetings and sent a paper with some suggestions from our side. How can we maybe increase the senior roster slots and potentially have a little bit more flexibility? What I worry potentially is not so much international games and the players leaving. I also worry about the next year League Cup when we're playing a 1 month with Mexican teams who will come with the 40 players rosters, while we have a 20 players rosters, plus obviously the lot of youngsters, which is great. But if you want to be competitive, the young players sometimes cannot and should not take the whole burden of being asked to kind of win the games against a very experienced and ex-professionals. So I think it's a something that is already been discussed, and it's something that is openly looked at. And I think the league came up with a lot of new ideas and solutions in the last couple of years since I'm here. So I think I have no doubt that the league will address this as well in a coming months or year.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go back to Alex.
Hi there. Yeah, Zoran, this question was just one that I wanted to follow up on. I know that Anton Walks had his green card interview scheduled for the past week, I guess. Has that been settled and resolved? Has he received his green card, and will he good to now be considered a domestic player on Charlotte's roster?
Correct, Alex. Alex is a domestic player. He's coming back tomorrow, so he's joining the team tomorrow, and he'll be training. He'll be in contention for maybe not the game against Vancouver, but certainly for the US Open Cup and so on for the rest of the season.
And then are there others that are close to getting that green card as well that you think will be completed before that deadline that was previously announced? Yes, we believe that Sergio Ruiz will get the green card before the deadline because he's now in the final stages. Okay, thank you.
All right, and Nick Carboni.
Hand was raised from earlier. Sorry, I'm
Right.
on.
All right. Well, that's all the hands raised. Anyone else before we wrap?
Yeah, me.
Oh, okay, perfect. Herb. I see you there now. Sorry.
Okay. In terms of the standings, Charlotte is 9th in the East. Is that up to your expectation of where this team should be, or did you have expectations that they would be a little bit further along and further up the table?
I think that the table never lies, so we are where we should be in many ways. But yeah, I think there are certain moments that I feel that we deserve more out of the games. Let's look at Atlanta game where we conceived the goal in 97th minute of the extra time, and even our first game against DC, where I didn't really feel that the result gone against the run of play completely. We had a few more games where we could, Colorado game, we were, I believe, better team. We should have gone with 3 points. So yes, but to be honest, for us, the most important thing at this stage of the season is to stay close to the playoffs and stay competitive. And I believe the team is getting better by every game and is getting more glued and learning more what the coach wants from them. And we also getting tonight, Kervin Vargas is arriving into town. Is another very exciting winger striker that will add depth to the squad. It will give more opportunity, flexibility to Miguel Angel. We'll have a wingers that Miguel Angel always wanted to play the most attacking style. Luckily, the few players coming back from the injury, so we don't have a major, except Adam Armour, who is out of the season. So we don't have a major injuries. So we're lucky right now. I consider ourselves. The season is long, is still young. So I think where we are right now is probably fair. I feel sorry for a few points that would maybe put us right there in the playoffs.
And as far as the MLS Next Pro initiative, can you share any details in terms of where it is now in terms of acquiring talent or whatever else is necessary to get it off the ground next year?
Well, look, I'm personally very impressed, and I think we find a high value in a domestic talent so far in a first team. If you look at the players that we have, George Marks and Ben Bedner and Chris Haggett and Adam Armour and Jenny Lindsay, this is the 5 talented young players who we expect a lot in the future from. So I think the MLS Next Pro would be the perfect stage for the more and more American talents to show to the head coach and to all of us if they're ready and when they're ready. And I'm really excited about this team. I think we're planning to kind of probably start announcing the head coach and the people that will be on a technical side of the team in a summer. And we would like to kind of start building the club, some kind of hybrid model in a summer, August, September, start playing maybe some friendly games and getting ready for a full launch in January, February next year when the preseason starts.
Thank you.
And then I saw Carol's hand pop up, so we'll go over to you.
Hey, Zoran, this is Carol Walton from the Charlotte Ledger. You mentioned Vargas. Do you have any idea how long it might take him to be ready to play in terms of fitness and what the coaches need from him?
I think Kevin is fairly fit because he played 2.5 weeks ago. He played the game, and he was immediately when we because that deal took about 2 months to be done. So we immediately sent the one person to kind of bring all the necessary programs for him. We hired the personal coach while he was in Portugal. He worked under our instructions while he was waiting for visa for a week in Colombia. So I would think he would need probably a week to kind of get to know the program and the teammates. I would think that potentially US Open Cup or certainly Seattle Sounders away, he will be ready.
Right, and also you mentioned Miguel and his need for wingers. I know you guys have worked together for a while now, but do you feel like you've learned a little bit more about your relationship and what you need from each other, through this first third of the season? Well,
we started working in August last year, so we had almost coming close to a year of working together. Of course, yeah, we're learning. Same as the players learning about him. He's learning about players, and I'm learning about Miguel, and Miguel about me and the front office people. And that's the process. That's the process that it's necessary in an expansion club. We didn't know each other from before, but I think we're working fairly closely together, and he's part of most of the decision making and processes that we do, and same for us. We have regular meetings twice a week, where we basically debrief each other on the game that passed and the game that is coming, and all other events that are happening around the first team, and the first team players is involved in as much as he can with academy and the MLS Next Pro as well.
Thank you.
Awesome. I think if no one else, we'll end it there for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks, Zoran.
Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it.
So-